Hello, everyone. I'm Dame Crawford, and welcome to another quick cultural conversation. Today, we're going to talk about how, with this administration, meritocracy equals white, DEI equals black. Those are the code words that they're using, and I'm going to hop into it. I'm going to explain what I mean, and I'm going to explain why, so you can all be aware of what's actually going on. The prevailing thought of the DEI detractors are somehow that anyone hired based on opportunities afforded by DEI programs means they're wholly unqualified. Not that qualified applicants are getting opportunities they otherwise would not get. Now, what makes their argument even more interesting is how they throw around that we're supposed to be such a meritocracy while hiring people based on nepotism and cronyism. I mean, we can start right at the top for proof. Let's take a look at the president and his cabinet picks. Let's look at their positions versus their experience and their qualifications. After we go through some of those cabinet picks, you can see why in this administration, DEI equals black and woke, and meritocracy equals whiteness. Now, let's start with Linda McMahon, the education secretary. She is the co-founder of the WWE. She served 1 year on the Connecticut Board of Education 15 years ago. She spent more than a decade as a trustee at Sacred Hearts University. She never worked in the field, never worked on policy. She graduated with a teacher certificate, but never taught. She has a very limited background in education. Her biggest qualification, her loyalty to Donald Trump. She has been brought in to dismantle the Department of Education. Now, why does this administration want to dismantle the Department of Education? Because it administers $1.6 trillion for the federal student loan programs. And they give out a bunch of grants for K through 12. And what else they do? They enforce the civil rights laws and ban discrimination at any federally funded schools. So, again, another place that this administration is trying to reverse and hurt civil rights protections. The only light at the end of the tunnel is they would need a supermajority to totally abolish this department. Now, let's talk about RFK Jr., Secretary of Health and Human Services. Kennedy insists that he is not anti-vax and claims he has never told the public to avoid vaccination. But he has repeatedly made his opposition to vaccines clear. He even said on the podcast, there's no vaccine that is safe and effective, and has urged people to resist CDC guidelines on when to take them. Trump gave the keys to American health and food to a man that proclaims some of his brain has been eaten by worms, to a man who claims to have left a dead bear carcass in Manhattan Central Park. RFK Jr. has asked that fluoride no longer be added to water, pushing for the sale of unpasteurized milk, which could cause life-threatening bacterial infections, promoted the notion that HIV doesn't cause AIDS. This is who will be in charge of food and health, someone who doesn't believe in the science of many things. I guess his qualifications are he's a Kennedy that's loyal to Trump. And let's get on the rest of the list, talk about Pete Hegseth. Now, here are some of the things that's needed to be the Secretary of Defense. They must be able to provide strategic leadership to the department, oversee budgets, make financial decisions, collaborate with military leaders, and advise the president on defense policy and strategy. Now, having said all that, we have already witnessed the incompetence of Hegseth and his team planning and giving out a play-by-play of a strike on Yemen. Not only were they on an unsecured app, they were also on unsecured personal devices. See, it's protocol for any classified information to be shared on secure servers and devices. This opens up the administration to all kinds of security risks. To make matters worse, they accidentally added a reporter to the chat from the Atlantic. In the aftermath, we saw this administration dodge all accountability and flat out lie about the contents of that chat. What's worse, there is no apparatus in place to make sure someone has to answer for such massive faux pas. Now, could you imagine if a black Secretary of Defense under the Obama administration had done such a thing? They yell and scream about meritocracy, but what they really mean is cronyism and nepotism. Basically, we want it all to ourselves. The pick for the EPA's top attorney has never tried a case, the verdict, never done the most basic tasks such as taking a deposition. All that to say, don't let them gaslight you into believing that they care about hiring based on merit. They just don't want us to get hired over them, no matter how unqualified they are and no matter how qualified we are. I mean, we see in this election, people that voted for Donald Trump saying a woman who has spent years making laws in Congress, working her way up, was unqualified, while touting how Donald Trump was the qualified businessman, even though he's failed at nearly every business that he's had. Listen, don't fall for it. Don't fall for the banana in the tailpipe. Meritocracy equals white. DEI equals black. Thanks for tuning in to another quick cultural conversation.